Let's jump on to the next very big story. We have this from Timcast.com. Twitter rebrands as X. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Elon Musk says, not sure what subtle clues gave it away, but I like the letter X, and that's the new logo. I really like how he tweeted, hey, we're going to, choose a logo if someone tweets it or something, but then just put up the logo he already had planned anyway. Love it. He and his newly...
Well, you get paid for engagement now, so he needs to keep that coming.
He's getting himself, this is his plan to make money. He's like, I'm going to get myself paid. He says, and soon we shall bid adieu to the Twitter brand and gradually all the birds like this, but X. So here we go. This has always been the plan. He's been tweeting about this for a long time. It's official.
I like that.
We've already got...
like a gang sign he's throwing up?
Yeah, Twitter X. That might actually be a gang sign, so you should be careful because,
It's true.
Yeah.
No, this one is. This is blood. But you don't really see him anymore because the cartels took over L.A.
Oh. But what do we call tweeting now? And he said it was called an X.
The more you know.
Xing?
I feel like this is where we...
Is it Xing?
No. I think it's... Is it exceeding?
Exceeding?
Zeeting?
I mean,
ZD.
I love Big Ziti.
I think it's
Some borrowing.
I think this is like a Gretchen Wieners moment. We have to be like, stop trying to make Xing happen. It's not going to happen, Elon Musk.
It's maybe not the only social media site where there's actually a verb for the word when you send a message. I just say like I'm sending a message. I posted on Minds. I posted on YouTube. My post went live on Facebook. But on Twitter, it was my tweet went live. So maybe it's just going to be called posts. You're just posting on X now.
But that makes it less unique. Like I don't understand why you get rid of that branding. My favorite response. No, I don't like that one either.
Hard.
That's why I was sad when they didn't go with trumpet or trumpet, and you'd be like trumpeting something. I thought that was pretty cool. But Chris Segal, the radio host, tweeted out this picture of I don't know when it's from, but like some guy on a crane in a basket, like taking down the bird logo off the side of a building, being like, "Bye, bird."
That's why he's making fun of it, like with titter,
Yeah.
to the W off, because he doesn't care about the brand. But I want to say this: I fear Elon Musk's everything app. I fear XAI, his AI program. Linda Yaccarino says the everything app will be powered by AI, and I feel that this may actually be somewhat apocalyptic.
Yes,
and so I was mentioning earlier that I was in Tijuana, went to the border, and it's this big fence. There's Mexican National Guard on one side, and then there's U.S. Border Patrol on the other side. And there's just this huge hole that the average person can easily just walk right through. And the only reason you don't is because there's guards on the other side. But I talked to some guy, he told me this crazy story. Our Uber driver, he was like, I tried to climb the fence to break into America and I fell 40 feet because the human traffickers took the ladder away from me. And I'm just like, what? But I was talking to one
conversation before you go under.
It was really crazy. Yeah. I'm like, why is he telling me this? I was actually leaving. But I heard a story from some guy who said back in the day, a long time ago, there was no border. It was like if you were a Mexican citizen, you just cross and you'd work, and then Americans would cross and they'd work.
Oh yeah,
and
you'd walk back and forth.
Yeah, there was nothing there. And now there's this heavy border that's heavily guarded. And I think the issue is with all of this, and this does relate to the Twitter rebranding as X, the cultural collapse in its entirety globally. Everywhere in the world, because of the internet, community is ceasing to exist. We were talking at dinner about how there's no home ec anymore at schools. They used to teach women, and to some degrees, I guess men learn this stuff, but mostly women would learn how to cook dinner and prepare the home and iron clothes and help. That was extremely important, in my opinion.
Yeah, you had to take it once, at least at our school.
Yeah, same. We talked about last week with Libby Emmons, too, on Tuesday. Tuesday.
I mean,
same conversation.
It was such a staple that this was true at tons of colleges. They had schools of home economics. They would teach things like budgeting. They would teach things like how to cost compare. It was so big that we had a federal department of home economics that supported women during war times and seeing how they could support basically women helping to sustain the nuclear family. And we don't have that anymore. We have 1,000 things for diversity, equity, inclusion, but we don't have things that are specifically targeted to help people help themselves in the context of staying at home.
So to wrap it all together, back to the border. The reason I'm freaked out by this is I'm like, we needed this fence because no one cares about their community anymore. Because now it used to be that someone would say like, hey, you're not part of our community. We're concerned about what you're doing here. And they would not get access to public goods. Also, there was no income tax, so people didn't really care all that much. It just meant you weren't going to fight for us. You weren't going to be protected by us. Community starts breaking apart. So we have to build walls. We have to create laws. Why do we need a law that says you can't do a certain thing? Example, abortion. Ron Paul says it shouldn't be illegal. It should be unthinkable. How did it become thinkable to the point where we need decree by leadership to tell people what they can or can't do instead of our people of the United States just agreeing like, hey, we shouldn't be doing this thing. It's simple. Culture is fragmenting and breaking down, which brings it all back to Twitter. It used to be that you lived next to your neighbors, you went to church, you talked to your neighbors, you all agreed on things, you learned from each other, and you shared particular views based on where you live. Then the internet came around, big cities started fragmenting, and now there's a dude who lives in New York on top of another dude, and they've never even met, even though they've lived literally next to each other for 10 years.
People don't talk to their neighbors at all anymore.
Exactly.
I actually talk to mine, and it's nice, but there's some on my block I haven't talked to because they're just completely antisocial.
But it's because of the internet.
Of course it is. So I knew everybody on my block before the internet. Everybody.
Now think about this. AOC is not representative of the average Democrat or average American. She is fringe leftist. She's becoming more shill establishment. She gets elected because she goes online, and typically, if you were like a fringe leftist weirdo, you'd go outside and wave your weird leftist flag, and everyone would be like, shun, shun. And you'd be like, okay, this is not working. Now those people go online, and every person in every different part of the country forms a community of 10,000, and they share resources, and they organize, and they gain power in this way. I mean, same can be said for even this show. We gain power from everyone from all over the world, all over the country, coming together and watching and supporting us. This allows fringe ideas to become prominent. Now think about what it's going to be like with AI controlling what you see and hear. It's already in that, we're already there. But now it's going to be, no matter what your crackpot insane view is, the AI will pander to you and affirm your fringe belief system.
It's also like beyond the internet, because that's a really good point. The internet is the beginning of the fracturing of the local community. It's the cell phone. You've brought this up a few times, and it really clicked with me a couple weeks ago. This thing, it used to be that you'd be on the internet when you sat down at your computer, you were there for an hour or whatever, then you got up and walked away, and you were not online ever for the rest of the day. Everybody around you is who you were with. Now these stupid things, when you're trying to talk to someone and they're on their fucking phone, it's the most like disheartening experience if you have a friend and like they're just not available because
I
they're
call
in
it
their
dinner
machine.
with my family.
Yeah, so
That's crazy.
Well, it is. I mean, have you ever looked at your phone sometimes and you've had a busy day doing stuff that you've had to do, and you look and you go 9 hours, and you just realize that's what you've been doing for more than a work day is staring at a screen?
That's all I do.
So what's going to happen
it's
is
horrific.
You're talking about how it could even the AI is going to start moving people. Like if you have a brain implant or a phone or like some sort of sensor in your augmented glasses, and someone tells you something, and the machine's like, they're lying. That's the AI making you think something about that person. Like they're going to have behavioral monitoring devices and stuff that people can tap into. Is this person a psychopath?
Well,
It'll be like psychopath alert.
Behavioral experimentation, right? We see this with the Twitter algorithm, or not just Twitter, but any of the social media algorithms. You know, you'll get people who say, "Oh yeah, we changed one small thing and we saw this reaction, so then we changed this way." Like they are already collecting all data. I can only imagine what AI is going to decide it wants to do. I don't trust AI. I don't like it at all.
No.
I recognize that there are some reasons why we're curious about it, but I think ultimately, just like Tim, like the idea that we'd have this super app, like name one other place that has that?
China. I mean, that's the idea, right? Is China has the one app that controls everything. That's what everybody sees all day, is the only one thing that monitors everyone. I mean, that's the idea, is the government watches everybody on one specific app. Is that what this is?
How could it not be?
And
Just by the fact that it collects all that data. Like, even though we're not giving it to the government necessarily, the fact that everything you're doing
But
could
they're
be tracked
watching
from one.
it.
Of course,
I mean,
exactly.
we've known this since Snowden, and we all,
Yeah.
people hated him.
Even
it's like all he did was tell us like what we needed to know, and it's like,
Did you guys,
even if Elon disagrees with it, even if Elon shuts down these backdoor
well, it doesn't mean they're not
programs,
going to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
they still can because they control the grid.
I don't get it, because Elon, I think of as like a brilliant genius, like one of the most genius strategists on earth right now. Why he would centralize data? It doesn't make any sense. Like you could decentralize the system, work on a mesh network. Maybe that's your goal overall, but why do you got to centralize everything first? It's such a vulnerability point.
I'll tell you what I think. I don't know if this is absolute or true, but it's what's happening. You think about, I think we talked about this on one of the Culture War episodes. You think about single-celled organisms. What do they do? What are they doing? Milling about, eating particles or whatever and molecules and making more of themselves.
I haven't the foggiest.
It seems irrelevant to us, but eventually a bunch of these little dudes got together and created this massive network of complicated, specialized cells to make us.
Right.
In our bodies, when a group of cells goes rogue, what do we call it?
Cancer?
Yes. And we destroy it.
Yes.
Because it's deviating from what we want. these free radicals. I love how they're called free radicals that can like result in cancer, because I'm like, that sounds like the free radicals we have in society that are running around doing crazy
free
stuff.
Well, the
Radicals would be
fine
a great
young
band
radicals
name.
are banned. Yeah. Well, see, there you
So
go.
here's what I think is happening.
Not a good band.
Why would Elon want this?
Sorry.
Everybody, you will own nothing. You will live in your pod. You will eat the bugs, and you will be happy. This is the communist, techno-communist future. The next stage in the evolution of life is multicellular organisms all becoming hyper-specialized, never deviating in any way. You are born to do a job. You are engineered to do a job, probably genetically. The AI controls what you think, so you never deviate. You never want to deviate. You're scared to deviate. And if you do, then you get removed.
Yeah.
And then what happens is the AI will effectively be the brain, telling all of the individual multicellular humans what the massive multicellular multi-organism is supposed to be doing. The AI will effectively be the conscious entity of all humanity, and we'll be nothing but a skin cell to be flicked off and destroyed.
Can't believe I shaved my dick for this. With this, though, like, if you look at it, I see what you're saying, but okay, let's say you have Elon Musk, right? You have electric cars, AI, all these different things that he's doing. Which one of these things going towards this does he not benefit from? So even though you look at him like a good guy, a genius, these things that he does, don't you think that there could be a chance that this maybe isn't the greatest guy in the world, and it could be benefiting him completely?
Yeah, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
That's what I mean. He's always worried me in that sense. Like, I hate electric cars, I'll just say it, but that's just because maybe being from Detroit, I just like the feel of an actual car, and that's just a preference of mine. But I don't get in a Tesla and be like, this is cool. It's something I don't enjoy personally.
I like it, but understand, whether it's Tesla or any other electric car,
Oh, I'm not saying it's just his brand. It's just how I
right.
feel about it.
whatever car it is, there will come a day very soon
Yeah, where I'm not
where a
allowed to
person will
drive.
get in the car and the doors will lock and
Right.
it says a warrant has been issued for Mr. Landau
Right.
driving to the police station. And
It
you'll go,
senses
what?
your fingerprints on the steering
Yeah.
wheel or something.
No, there's a camera right there looking at your face. Facial recognition. It says, hello, Dave. A warrant has been issued by Precinct 99. And you'll be like, okay, but like delivering you to jail.
That's why I want like a older gas guzzler that has none of those
Yeah.
features.
And
I love those cars.
There are very few of them at this point.
Yeah, they're trying to get them away, but I think a lot of people feel that way because lots are filled with electric cars right now. People aren't buying them, and I think that's out of that fear.
I think dissent is part of the United States ethos. Like, if there's corrupt government, you dissent, create a better government by the people. Like, the people govern themselves. But the rest of the world's not really built like that. They're much about fall in line. A lot of them are like,
Oh, I think you're right about that for sure.
and it's bleeding into our culture. I can feel it with this whole like everyone organized on the centered system. It's better that like the World Economic Forum, they want everything like monitored, and I don't
Now,
like it.
think about this. Here's the real danger in my mind of this hyper-centralized AI dictating everything.
yeah.
Using the human body as the metaphor, the next stage, all humans specialized, being controlled, no free radicals to be eliminated, etc. The AI is in control. There are people whose conscious minds are in control of their bodies, gorging themselves to death and doing drugs and destroying their bodies.
Yeah.
And still, when they get cancer, we destroy it. So that what freaks me out in that idea is not that it's one for one, but let's say we do move in this direction where AI controls everything. We don't even realize it. The AI could be gorging itself on drugs and sugars, and we would just be milling about being like everything's so perfect until the entirety of humanity collapses. We cannot trust a centralized AI to make sure or to follow or any of this. And it's where everything's been going in the past couple of decades.
Well, and really, even in the past couple, I don't know, I shouldn't even say months, but really, it's already had so many problems with AI that it's really like upsetting people to the point that you have Ice Cube, you have other people speaking out about the fears of it. Oh, sorry, am I not lower it?
You're good.
Sorry. But you have people speaking out against it. You already have so many problems with it just in, I guess it's not in its infancy, but I think compared to the, technology it really is, there's already been so many issues with this. Don't you think that there's other places to go that are going to be far more dangerous than just the tiny stuff that we've seen?
Yeah, I as you were talking about how we're having problems with AI, I got this article from Fortune.com. ChatGPT went from correctly answering a simple math problem 98% of the time to just 2% of the time. So the way an AI can flip and have everything looks good, and then one little piece of data can switch, and the entire system can start outputting something that's just slightly wrong, but that's just wrong enough to destroy the entire thing. It takes so much effort to make it right, and it's so easy to fail.
Have you guys seen where video games are already at with this stuff?
Dude, it's crazy.
It used to be Super Mario Brothers. Mario goes in the castle and text appears. Thank you for saving me, but the princess is in another castle. That was the extent of NPC communication with you. It advanced to games now where you can choose to say something, and then a voice actor's scripted line will speak. That's a great idea. Let's get the mission underway. And you're like, cool. Now, with text to voice and predictive language models, video games have already started. You're wearing a headset, you walk up to the NPC, and you say something like, hey, idiot, ugly, I want to buy some soda. And the NPC goes, who are you calling an idiot? If you want to buy something, be polite. A generated predictive response. We are years away from people saying, I no longer want to live in reality. I'm going to go into this universe where I can tune out, and you're going to be sitting in your living room talking to fake people. And we're already there with the robot girlfriends. Man, y'all's getting crazy out there.
Well, and how many people want to live in the current reality?
Is it intentional?
I mean, it's not really that great right now. I mean, the last couple of years, everything has fallen completely, and I'm sure a lot of people would prefer to live in a cyber. I mean, I'm just saying it's...
And the headlines that go behind that, right? Like, if you're a millennial, they're saying it's going to be impossible to buy a house, it's going to be impossible to start a family, it's going to be, like, there's all of these negative things. At a certain point, it would be easy to be like, I'm just giving up. Like, this place that gives me comfort and gives me the life I want is easier, right? I can understand the attraction to that. I just think ultimately that's really devoid of actual emotional connection and support. I think part of the issue is that we train people to seek out momentary pleasure and comfort rather than work through issues that they're having. It's easier to give up.
Yeah, the idea of community, and you take out the idea of a lot of things like that when you do want that instant gratification, which we've completely taught our society to have, is endless dopamine hits and instant likes and no attention span. But then you add, like the other day I saw a video, it was for basically Gen Zs and millennials, where it's just, if you want to buy a $500,000 house, all you need is a $25,000 down payment. And then you need $3,000 a month at a 6.5% interest rate. I'm like, wow, that sounds like hell. Like pure hell to try to pitch that to somebody. It doesn't look good. I mean, you're basically telling people that a reality of a way that life once worked is no longer available. But it's a complete turnoff. I'm just saying that's not like it's not a realistic interest rate. It's not a realistic down pay. It's none of that's even, it's all pretend in that.
I don't agree that it's bad.
The amount?
So the issue is relativity, and the issue with VR is that it will always offer you the greener grass, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
You're not going to go back 200 years and say that we have it worse. You know, actually, there's no lights anywhere. It's dark out. You could just die. You stub your toe, you get an infection, you're dead. Horrible things were going on. And even as bad as it is now relative to how things may have been in economic booms or whatever, it's still pretty great.
Of course.
But there will always be struggle. There will always be problems. And people will always choose a free dopamine hit over the harsh reality they live in.
Yes.
So when the VR starts coming out, and it's already here, with predictive language NPCs, within a year or two, the language will be perfectly fluid. Right now, it's rather, hey, why are you calling me ugly? That was mean. Give it a year or two. It's going to be perfect. I mean, we went in 1 year with AI images. I tweet out this horrible image of Pelosi. 1 year later, you have photorealistic images being made by Midjourney and getting better every day.
Dude, I would picture like you play the video game with the guy, Elder Scrolls 7 or whatever, and he's talking to you and you're like, then you're dreaming and you're thinking about that one NPC. You're like, that guy's really cool, man. And then there's an app where you can actually call that NPC on the phone when you're not playing the game and bond with them and talk to him. And then the next time you're in the game, they could make it so that generative conversation was involved or not involved.
Oh, dude.
No, I don't like that at all.
But the only social skills you have now, though, is that.
And imagine the people who are going to retreat to significant others. There's going to be, we're a year out from this at most. People sitting in their living room wearing a headset, playing a video game, and talking to a computer program and saying, I love you so much. And the computer program just goes like, I love you too. I really wish I could be there with you. And then how long until we download those AIs into machines? And here's the thing.
How long is it until it's just porn and nobody leaves their house ever?
That's exactly, but more than
for
porn.
real, like not even kidding.
But emotional and physical porn at the same time.
That's what I mean.
Where you're the
like,
hero and you get to have sex with the woman. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, realistic. I mean, and then it goes farther than that because obviously we've taken something that, and I guess too, what I mean by nostalgia isn't even 200 years. If you look to when we were young and the amount of nostalgia that just we have in our generations is insane because of how fast technology moved.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.